Hey everybody on YouTube. I know it's been a few days since I've gotten on here, but it's been really busy with practice and everything, helping people. And there's been an interesting theme over the past few days that I kind of want to share with everybody, and hopefully this will help you with money and abundance. It is a very, I've been talking to a lot of clients who normally do financially very well. And they are people that are very giving of themselves financially, always willing to help someone out, always willing to share their resources. And this is a good thing. You know, we all need to be compassionate and have charity and share when we can. But when you share in a situation where you're being taken advantage of, so therefore you're allowing harm to happen to yourself, okay? That's not sharing, that's not compassion, that's allowing someone to take advantage of you. And when you allow someone to take advantage of you, it is like a double whammy. So the first whammy is you're allowing that person to harm you. And so that person gets karma because they're harming you on purpose because they feel you have and they don't. And they're taking without reciprocating in some way, or they're not having actual real gratitude. It's like they expect you to give them, in this particular cases that I'm talking about, money. And that is not charity. That is not dealing with people with gratitude. And no, you shouldn't just give for the sake of giving, especially when it causes harm. So then the second part of the double whammy is that you are allowing someone to harm you. And so therefore you're allowing harm to yourself. So you get whammy onto you for allowing yourself to be harmed and taken advantage of. This is a really big deal. It's gotten to be a bigger deal. Like anybody who's worked with me for any amount of time has heard this speech about abundance. And trust me, I am at fault. I'm not gonna say I'm a victim of it. I'm at fault for doing it. I have had a lot of people take advantage of me. They assume I have money because I'm put together or I present in a certain way, or they sense a certain energy of education about me and they assume I'm a millionaire. And I'm not any of those things. As a matter of fact, you know, I took a lot of hits over the past several years because I was not in balanced relationships with money and helping others. It wasn't balanced. And so I got my butt kicked for it and really injured my career because of it, because I wasn't looking out for myself and I was expecting for other people to look out for me, and no one's going to do that, especially in this day and age. Everybody's like incredibly desperate. Everybody's really upset. Prices just keep going up. Standard of living keeps, you know, costs of everything rising high. And if you have animals or special needs animals, then you really are getting hit hard. And, you know, I'm to the point where I'm buying the bare minimum at the grocery store. And thank God my grocery store bill has gone down exponentially. I spend like $70 a week and just eating really simple. I eat soup. I make soup and I eat soup. And that's just the way it is. But I'm healthy, you know, it's not like I'm starving or anything. I'm all right. It's just, you know, a lot of us are having to tighten our belts in ways that we're not used to. So with that said, like I've had a bunch of clients lately tell me about how they're hurting for money, but yet they're telling me about people who are taking advantage of them. And people assume that those people have a lot of money too, and they don't. And they're dealing with people that aren't showing gratitude. So like, for example, you know, I have like a brother from another mother, and he does, you know, have a lot more than I do, but I don't expect for him to pay for me. I always offer to pay, but of course he's a gentleman. He's a real man. He's never going to let me pay for anything, but I stay with him. And, you know, I was always taught you bring a gift when you stay with somebody and, you know, you invite them out or whatever. Well, he's not going to let me invite him out. And because he's a gentleman, and that's just the way he was raised. And so I had to figure out, like, what can I get him? Because, like, buying him a shirt or a tie or anything does not make sense, because the man has the nicest of things of everything, right? So I figured out my host gift. I buy stuff for his dog because, he doesn't have time to go shopping. So, like, I buy a bed here or there. I buy some toys here or there. And if I'm buying some, like, seltzer waters for myself, because I like a fizzy water at night sometimes, I know he likes fizzy water too, so I buy enough for both of us. And, that's me trying to reciprocate with someone who has more than me, who's being generous and letting me stay with them so I don't have to have a hotel or whatever. So I help with the dog because I know he doesn't have time to go shopping for his dog. So it's kind of like I figured out, like, how to do that and how to give back. Even if I give back in small ways, I give back as much as I can. And that is when you have gratitude for someone helping you. And so the same thing, like, I had, like, a dear friend, family member tell me about a certain situation where a person left a major financial responsibility in their lap, saying, oh, I can't take care of my financial responsibility anymore. So they just assumed that my friend would pick up the slack for this major financial responsibility. And my friend is already cutting back on their other financial responsibilities because they have to, because everything is really lean right now. But a lot of times people see what this person has, the property, stuff, and assume that this person is wealthy, and they're not. They work very hard for every single thing that they have. And it's distressing because that was something I had to point out to my friend who's, she does work with me. But I said, you have to call this person, call them out on this garbage, and put a stop to it. So either they get caught up on what they owe you, including moving forward, paying you, or they come and get, their responsibility right now, like now. And you're not being mean to the responsibility, which happens to be, I guess you would call it a codependent, somebody that is financially dependent on somebody. But that has to get done because you can't let people take advantage of you. And I have another friend, same thing, generosity, and person doesn't have a lot of money. Well, if you're staying there and someone's helping you out, then, you do little stuff like, if the laundry detergent runs out, buy the laundry detergent. It's like, what, $6, $7? Do what you can. See, those people that reciprocate, even if they don't have as much as of you, like, that was another thing. Sometimes you don't have to buy anything. Sometimes it can be like the person I stay with had all this, like, stock up of food from, like, when we thought there was going to be, like, a shutdown. And so they, like, stocked up on all this frozen food and all this canned goods. And I went through the kitchen and called them up and said, all this stuff is expired, right? And he was like, it is? And I went, yeah. And he goes, that's still good. No. We don't want food poisoning. So I came home, and I have responsibilities when I travel there. But I came back to his house, and I was like, you know what? I went in and found garbage bags, and I cleaned up the entire kitchen of stuff that was expired. And that was my way of contributing to that person allowing me to stay in their home. And, I have my own room, I have my own bathroom. That was my way of contributing and of helping. And I didn't have to spend any money. I just was helping him with cleaning stuff up, and that he needed help with because he doesn't have time to do it when he gets home because he has, like, crazy schedule from hell. So you need, even in charity, there's reciprocation, and you've got to put your money in the right place. If you're giving money to people on the street, you just don't know if they're buying booze or drugs. So it's not a great idea to give money to homeless people. And a lot of them are organized by the mob now, especially in cities. And so the mob will give them a place to stay, give them all the drugs they want, and take the money that they collect on the street corners. And so like each person is assigned to street corners. It's not like regular homeless people anymore that used to just be asking for help. This is all now organized by mob stuff. So this is stuff that like people need to be aware of. And so what I used to do in LA when I lived in the city is I would go down to the farmer's market on Saturday, and I would get to know some of the people that I knew were homeless or struggling. And two guys that I met were veterans, and they weren't lying to me. I could feel it. And they were gentlemen. They would see me struggling with my bags, and they would say, you know, and they had gotten to know me, and they were like, "Hi, Miss Gabby, can we carry your bags?" And I was like, "No, I got it, boys." I said, "But thank you for offering." And then I made the decision, okay, after I got to know them for a little bit, I was like, these guys are pretty genuine. I don't see anybody else helping them. So I would buy meals for both of them. So I would go to a place where I knew I could get like really nice sandwiches near the farmer's market. And I got 2 sandwiches for both men. I bought 2 pieces of fruit for each of them. And I got 2 drinks for each of them. And after I got to know them and know who they were, I would, as I was walking out, I was like, "Hi guys, I picked a few things up for you guys too." And I would hand them, you know, like one of those reusable bags. So they each got a reusable bags with the separate containers of food and stuff that I just outlined. And the first time I did it, one of the guys started to cry, and he just looked at me and he goes, "Everybody just walks by us. They don't care if we're hungry or thirsty." I was like, "I know." I was like, "I just had to get to know you guys." I said, "I had to get to know you guys and make sure that, you know, I don't have a lot either, you know, especially in LA. If anybody knew me back then, I was really struggling." And I said, "But you know what? I've gotten to know both you guys, and you're both really cool, and you always offer to help me, and you're gentlemen, and clearly you just need a little help to get back on your feet. And if I can share some of my budget for my food, I don't mind, you know, especially when it's genuine. You guys are honestly trying to get back on your feet. You're not doing drugs, you're not doing booze, and I feel good about getting you two meals. They're nothing fancy, it's just good food." And I also knew what they liked, you know, because we had talked about stuff, and they said, "Oh, you know, I miss roast beef sandwiches, or I miss turkey," or whatever. So I knew what to get that they would, you know, that they would like. Those type of people, that's the type of charity you want to do, because you know where your money is going, where you place your money. If you place your money with somebody and they go out and buy drugs or alcohol, you're participating in someone's addiction. So then your charity is not really charity, it's you're participating in an addiction. So how you put your money, like the best of intentions, right? The road to hell is you know, lined with the best of intentions. You just really want to be careful where you're putting your money, and you have to be conscious of all this. Bo, get out of there, honey. More than ever. It's super, super important, because a couple of the people are hurting for money, and not my one friend, but a couple of others that are like my girlfriend that I was talking about are hurting for money. And I said, "You're putting your money in the wrong place. That's why the money's disappearing, because you're putting it with people that are taking advantage of you and not being genuine. And that's why your money is going out the door. So in order to get abundance coming in, you have to put your money in the right place, and you have to hold people accountable." Okay, so that's it. A little bit about money and abundance and creating abundance. Really important, like with charity, or you're trying to help friends out, always be sure that it's coming from the right place and going to the right place, because then more can come to you. All right, you guys have a great day. Thanks for joining me here. And if you need some help with your health or that of your animal, everything that I do is distance. I've been doing this for 25 years, probably close to 25 years. ConnectedEnergyHealing.com. Thanks again, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye, guys.